The Fiend who washed his feet. In a certain forest lived a Fiend named Cruel. One day he met a Brahmin in his wandering, climbed on his shoulder and said, "Now go ahead." So the terrified Brahmin started off with him, but on observing that the Fiend's feet were soft as lotus heart, he asked him, "Sir, why are your feet so tender?" And the Fiend replied, "I am under a vow never to touch the ground with my feet until I have washed them." Soon the Brahmin, while meditating a plan of escape, came to a lake. Here the Fiend said, "Sir, do not stir from this spot until I come forth from the lake after bathing and worshipping the god." Thereupon the Brahmin thought, "He will be sure to eat me after his worship. I will hurry away, for he will not follow me with unwashen feet." And when he did so, the Fiend, not daring to break his vow, did not follow. And that is why I say a prudent man should always ask, and the rest of it. After listening to this, the king summoned the Brahmins and said, "Brahman, a three-breasted daughter has been born to me. Are any remedial measures to be taken or not?" And they replied, "O king, listen. A daughter fitted out with limbs too numerous or few will lose her character and will destroy her husband too. But if the father sees a girl with triple breast about, she dooms him to a speedy death without a shade of doubt. Therefore, O king, shun the sight of her. Give her to anyone who will marry her, but banish him from the country. If this is done, there is no offense to laws, human or divine." When the king had listened to this opinion, he ordered a proclamation to be made everywhere with beat of drum as follows: "Hear ye, there is a three-breasted princess. To anyone who marries her, the king will give 100,000 gold pieces, but will exile him." For a long time this proclamation was made without anyone marrying the princess, who remained in seclusion and grew to young womanhood. Now there was a blind man in the city, and companion he had hunchback named Slow, who guided him with a staff. These two heard the drum and consulted, saying, "In case we touch that drum, we get girl and gold. With the gold our life will be happy. And even if death results from the girl's deformity, it will put a final end to the wretchedness of poverty. For until a mortal's belly pot is full, he does not care a jot. For love of music, wit or shame, for body's care or scholar's name, for virtue or for social charm, for lightness or release from harm, for godlike wisdom, youthful beauty, for purity or anxious duty." After this consultation, the blind man went, touched the drum, saying, "I will marry the girl." Thereupon the king's men went and reported, "O king, a certain blind man has touched the drum. Decision rests with the king." And the king said, "Listen, blind or deaf, of the meanest birth, leprous may he be, let him take the girl and gold to a far country." So the king's men followed their lord's command, took the three-breasted princess to the river bank, married her to the blind man, and gave him the 100,000 gold pieces. Then putting them all in a fishing boat, they said to the fishermen, "Take this blind man with his wife and the hunchback to a foreign land and settle them in some town or other." So they came to a foreign country, all three of them. There, in a certain town, they purchased a house and lived comfortably. The blind man, however, spent all his time dozing on a couch. In course of time, the princess had an intrigue with the hunchback, and she said, "My beloved, if this blind man happened to be killed, we should live happily together. Please find some poison. I will administer it, will kill him, and will become happy." Now one day, the hunchback picked up a dead black snake and joyfully returning home with it, he said to her, "Beloved, I found this black snake. Please cut it up, season it with delicious tidbits, and give it to that eyeless fellow, telling him it is a fish. Then he will die in a hurry." And with this, Slow started off for the market. But she cut up the snake, put it in a kettle with buttermilk, placed it over the fire, and as she was herself occupied with chores about the house, she civilly said to the blind man, "My dear, I got your favorite fish today, and I'm cooking them. So while I'm busy with other chores, please take the spoon and stir them." And he was delighted to hear it, stood up at once, licking his chops, took the spoon and started to stir. But as he did so, the poison steam raised his eyes and the film began to peel off. And he, perceiving its healthful action, intercepted all he could. So his vision cleared, and looking into the kettle, he saw nothing but chopped black snake, and he thought, well, what is the meaning of this? She called it fish to my face, but this is a chopped snake. I must learn for certain whether this is the work of the three-breasted woman or move to kill me on the part of Slow or somebody else. With this in mind, he concealed his feelings and behaved like a blind man. Presently, Slow returned and without hesitation began to hug the wife, to kiss her, and so on, and the blind man saw it all. Not finding a knife, he went up to Slow in the old way, wrathfully seized him by the feet, whirled him about his head with every bit of strength he could muster, dashed him against the chest of the three-breasted woman, and the blow from the hunchback's body forced the third breast in, while the hunchback, when his hump smashed against her bosom, came straight. And that is why I say blind man, hunchback, and the rest of it. And the gold finder said, yes, you are quite right in saying that good fortune always comes through the favor of fate. Yet after all, a man should make his fate his own, and not desert prudence as you did, interjecting my advice. With this, the gold finder bade him farewell and started home. Here ends Book 5, called Ill-Considered Deeds. The first verse runs, deeds ill-known, ill-recognized, ill-accomplished, ill-devised. Thought of these let no man harbor, take a warning from the barber. So, this is the last story of Panchatantra, and this also becomes the last episode for this season. Let me know if you liked it and would like me to take anything else. Bye bye for now.